Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a great day, and above all else, that you're indeed looking after yourselves and one another. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you back to another segment of Is This a Masterpiece? Now, the band in question is Thin Lizzy, and the album that we're going to be talking about today is Jailbreak. Jailbreak is Thin Lizzy's sixth release. It's a follow-up release to their 1975 album Fighting. Jailbreak was released on March 26, 1976, the first of two albums to be released in 76, sorry. The second being Johnny the Fox, released in October of 1976. Both albums would be produced by John Alcorn. Jailbreak was recorded between December of 75 to February of 76, released on Vertigo Records in Canada and the UK, and on Mercury Records in America. Jailbreak has a playing time of 35 minutes and 52 seconds. So relatively short playing time for CD, but perfect for vinyl. There were three singles released from Jailbreak. Those singles being the AM/FM classic "The Boys Are Back in Town," backed with Emerald, released on the 17th of April, 1976. Some countries, including the US and Canada, featured Jailbreak as the B-side to "The Boys Are Back in Town." To me, that makes it a double A single. Jailbreak would be released on its own with Running Back as a B-side in other territories, released on July 30th of 1976. And the third and final single release from Jailbreak would be Cowboy Song, backed with Angel from the Coast, released in Canada and the US only. Now, this album would feature what would be considered to be by many as the classic lineup of Thin Lizzy, featuring Phil Lynott on bass, lead vocals, and occasional guitar. The two-pronged attack of Brian Robertson and Scott Gorham on lead and rhythm guitar and backing vocals, and Brian Downey on drums and percussion. This lineup would come together for the release of Nightlife in 1974 and would stay together through Fighting, Jailbreak, and Johnny the Fox. Now, in terms of the background for this album, uh, with it being the band's sixth release, they were experiencing success, but on a moderate level. And it got to the point where they were approached by the record company and said, listen, they were told that they had to come up with a hit album and a hit single. Otherwise, they were going to be off the label. So the band retreated and sat down and came up with, for this album, nine songs that they felt best represented the band at that point in time. And listening to this album again for this segment, I would agree. It is a good melodic rock album. Straight to the point, very cut and dry, uh, but effective nonetheless. There's no loss of quality in the writing on this album. The songs are very short and to the point. Pretty much get on stage, perform the songs, and get off stage. That is the ethos and mentality for the songs on this album. Quite a few songs have what you would call it a cold stop or a dead stop at the end of the song. Not a lot of fading out on the outro. Very short and to the point, but melodic nonetheless. Starts off with Jailbreak at 4 minutes and 1 second. In my notes, I have you a great rhythm guitar, really catchy chorus. I like the way Phil Lynott double tracks his vocals, but to give it more of an anthemic feel when the chorus comes in, like on the shouting chorus. Nice guitar on the breakdown section when he yells "breakout," and then the you know guitars come in and the effects. It's uh, very effective, and it's just melodic as I'll get up and right to the point. Angel from the Coast is next, written by Brian Robertson at 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Great backdrop of guitars on this, great melody, nice harmony guitar work between Gorham and Robertson. Catchy hook and nice fast-paced tempo. Um, it's a classic track. Coming up next is Running Back at 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Nice mid-tempo pace track. Subtle use of sax on this. It's pretty much buried in the mix to an extent, the sax. Uh, it's a nice rest from the two opening tracks on the album. Because basically the two opening tracks come in basically call me over the head saying we've arrived, and running back just takes a step back and just relaxes for a bit, and there's, and my notes also have a good use of hand claps on the track. Kind of keeps it together, keeps the melody going, and keeps the track moving along. And it's very melodic, I gotta tell you. After running back, we have Romeo and the Lonely Girl. And I do believe in reading from Scott Gorham that this was considered to be a single at one point, but um, the band weren't really excited about it, so it was dropped. With Romeo and the Lonely Girl, 3 minutes and 55 seconds. And I get the feeling that this is Phil Lynott, trying to discuss the fact that he w was having issues with trying to establish a serious relationship with, with a woman. And, because he was on the road a lot and touring, and he found it very difficult to settle down and to have a normal life with a partner, with a wife or a girlfriend. In my notes I have here for Romeo and the Lonely Girl, sorry, great guitar and great guitar tone on this piece. Nice, fast-paced tempo, great harmony guitar solo. What I like about Scott Gorham and Ron Robertson's work in terms of lead guitar, they would uh, twin are the lead guitars on the tracks and the guitar solos. They would build textures of guitars and guitar passages on the tracks. Beautifully done, beautifully done. And again, just the album starts off boom, 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 like hit song after hit song for me personally. Warriors is next. That finishes off side one. Now, there's a bit of a discrepancy. Uh, Scott Gorham is listed as the writer for Warriors, but according to the information I read, it was Phil Lynott that wrote it because he said that when he wrote this song, he was thinking about people like Jimi Hendrix, who basically lived a hard life in terms of the drug use, etc. But that they knew what they were doing, and they were doing it anyway because they were living their own life and they wanted to experience life, and to hell with regret and the consequences. And they pretty much did what they wanted to do, and that's basically what this song is talking about. And went on to have your heavy bass on the intro, great melodic rhythm guitar. Again, nice use of what I call a wall of guitars, uh, piercing fuzz harmony guitar on the solo. Just amazing. And there's what I would call a haunting vocal on the breakdown section for this piece. But wonderful, just amazing. Side two kicks off with the AM/FM classic, The Boys Are Back in Town. In my notes, I have here AM/FM Gold. Great twinning harmony guitar passages. Melodic as I'll get out. It had the hook. Great bass on the intro when it starts. And it had hit written all over it. It had the hook. It was catchy. It was melodic. And this track is still played on FM classic rock radio today. I've mentioned K97 here in Edmonton. They still play it all the time, all the time. Up next is Fight or Fall, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Nice mid tempo pace track, relaxed guitar, beautiful guitar solo on this, but very calming, very soothing. And like I said, this album, you would come out with a couple of heavy rocking tracks, and then they would do like a nice sort of mid-tempo pace or a kind of like almost like a ballad track to sort of like relax things and then build it up again, with the rest of the album. And Fight or Fall is no exception. Cowboy Song is next, written by Brian Downey, 5 minutes and 16 seconds. In my notes, I have here calm, gentle guitar and harmonica on the intro, and then the guitars kick in on this heavy guitars. Catchy melody, catchy hook, Great guitar solo, nice twinning of guitar lines, which they do on virtually every track on this album. There's a nice breakdown section. And what I like too is they do a nice double tracking of the vocals on the chorus for this piece. The album ends with the classic Emerald, which is also played on K97 occasionally, 4 minutes and 3 seconds, credited to Gorham, Robertson, and Downey. Heavy rhythm guitars on this, great melody, nice twinning of harmony guitar in the left and right channel. So you're pretty much surrounded by, harmony guitar on this track. If you've got headphones on, enjoy it. Just sit back and enjoy it and go on the ride because you are forever changed by that. It's amazing. And again, just to reiterate, you couldn't get a better lineup in terms of uh, a group that wrote melodic, catchy, heavy rock. And what I call the two-prong attack of Brian Robertson and Scott Gorham on lead and rhythm guitar. They were in sync with one another. They knew what they needed to do, and they delivered the goods every single bloody time. Now, with Emerald, you also have, again, there is an extended blistering guitar solo on this piece and strong bass on this, very prominent bass on this track. And that ends off the album. Now, this album is considered to be Thin Lizzy's breakout album in the US. And unfortunately, they could not sustain the success. During the tour for this album, Phil Lynott came down with hepatitis, and which was customary at the time. What was customary at the time, sorry, was to leave the country because you couldn't risk getting everyone else sick. And the tour was canceled. So as he was recuperating in hospital, uh, Phil Lynott wrote the music that would become Johnny the Fox. Now, as a follow-up uh, on the back of Jailbreak, is it as good as Jailbreak? It's good. It is good. Is it as direct and as immediate in terms of the response that you get when you listen to it? I don't think so. I don't think so, which is sad because Thin Lizzy uh, were a fantastic rock band. And, to answer the ever-burning question, is this a masterpiece? Yes, I would have to say it is, due to the fact that every song on this track, either a rocker like um, Jailbreak or Angel from the Coast or Running Back, uh, which is more of a mid-tempo pace track. Every song had the hook. Every song had melody. Every song had a good chorus, just and fantastic, intricate, amazing guitar work from Scott Gorham and from Brian Robertson, you know? And you could feel, I could feel when I hear the album that the band are having a good time in the studio. Yes, it was make or break for them, but they, along with other bands at the time like Rush, who were basically threatened with being dropped from Mercury if they didn't come up with the goods after Caress of Steel, came out with 2112. The band, after releasing Fighting, came up with Jailbreak, and they pretty much did it on their own terms. So, yes, is this album a masterpiece? Yes, it is. So, please listen to the album if you haven't. Um, and if you can afford it, look up the 6 disc Super Deluxe set, 1976, that came out in 2024. You can get it on Discogs, you can get it on eBay, you can even try and find it in your local record shop. If you want to go on Amazon, if you go on Amazon.ca, you'll pay a heavy penny for it. But it's worth having. You've got the two albums, Johnny the Fox and Jailbreak on 1976, and you've also got alternate takes of tracks, live tracks. So, you know what? Check it out if you want. You can also stream 1976 on YouTube in its entirety. So, be warned, before you want to go pay out an exorbitant amount of money for the box set, check it out on YouTube first. But there you go. That answers the ever burning question. Is Jailbreak a masterpiece? Yes, it is. Put your comments down below. Please let me know what you think. And if you haven't heard this album, what are you waiting for? It's fantastic. It is simply amazing. So that's it for now. Please click like and subscribe, and do hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content I've got coming up. I'm going to be doing more shows with Jim Bricker, Ken Cheshire, Sagosh, and yes, eventually Bill Schuster at some point. But that's it for now, ladies and gentlemen. Please look after yourselves and one another, and I'll see you soon on the Music Den. Bye for now.